I am not sure if I should be calling this Building ROO or ROO News or a combination of the two, but today's episode or vlog is incredibly special to me because yesterday on my close friends list on my Instagram page, I shared for the very first time some insight in terms of what we've been working on the last 7 to 8 months behind closed doors, and that's ROO Supplements. Now, I received an overwhelming number of responses in regards to the aesthetic, the feel, the vibe, if they liked it or not. And people made some phenomenal suggestions. So thank you all for that. It means a lot. I'm no rookie to this space. I'm just somebody that is making somewhat of a comeback to the space, but I'm doing it different this time. If you've been with me for the last decade, you would have known in 2017, my dad and I started a company by the name of Fueled Supplements. Now, that company is still active today, but what we did with that company was a lot different than what I'm going to be doing with ROO Supplements. Not saying what we did was wrong, what I'm saying is a decade you should learn from your mistakes and then also probably make a lot of mistakes in the next decade. So what I want to do today is pop the top on the behind the scenes look, the infrastructure of what I've learned from that company, number one. And number two, what we're going to be implementing and doing moving forward with the ROO brand. Over the last decade, I have spent countless number of hours studying aesthetic design, teaching myself graphic design, teaching myself marketing, and better understanding consumer habits and what people like and what they don't like. A lot of it comes from personal experience as well, because the best consumer is us, especially if you're marketing a product to a specific niche demographic, whether that be athletes or everyday gym goers or whatever that demographic is. So what I'm doing today is showing you something that I normally would never show to the public. And I love the idea of this because I've been following George Heaton at Represent, and I've been looking at Cadence and what they've been doing at Ross McKay. And I'm looking at these different brands and BPN and Bare Nutrition. Now, I'm not trying to be any one of those brands. I don't want to be one of them and most likely won't ever be one of them. But the idea is to have my own originality and look at what they're doing good and where that we can improve on. And that's the whole idea about this shared market space when it comes to supplements. Because somebody would look at me or they're watching this and they're going to say, Josh, the supplement space is overly saturated. You'd be a dumb idiot to get back into the space. Now, is there some truth to that? 100%. Am I scared of it? No. Scared money don't make money. And is this about money? Yes, of course. People don't get in business for profit or for charity. People do charity for charity. People don't get in business for charity. So with that being said, I'm going to be taking you along with me on this journey. If that's what you choose to, of course. If you want to come along, great. If not, it's all good. Nobody's forcing you to watch 2 to 3 minutes into this video. But I'm going to share with you the back end side of the brand, the aesthetic, and what we're building when it comes to our product formulations. Before I give you some of those visuals here, because I'm going to do a screen share on my computer, I'm actually going to switch the POV to the computer on a screen recording, is I want to share with you what we did good in Fueled Supplements and what we're improving on with ROO Supplements. In Fueled Supplements, the product formulations were some of the best in the entire market. We had the most efficaciously dosed products of any company that had seen at that point in time. Now, many companies have not followed suit because they were copying us, but just followed the market trend in terms of product efficacy, meaning they're not watered down fairy dusted products that have very minimal amounts of specific performance ingredients that are not actually doing anything other than just taking up space on a label and looking good. And then what they do is they have big marketing campaigns and budgets, influencers, et cetera, to be able to push these products out for people to want to purchase them and think that they are awesome products. In reality, they're just watered down stimulant-based products for the most part. Fueled at the time really took a different type of angle in the industry, as we wanted to be on the top echelon of this space by providing a product and a service that was literally hard to beat in terms of product formulation. The downside is we've spent so much time, effort, money on R&D and product manufacturing, et cetera, is it was incredibly hard to allocate funds because we didn't have big capital investors. We didn't have a ton of starting initial capital to put into a massive marketing campaign or budget. Rather, what we did is it was a very grassroots, in the trenches, guerrilla marketing esque type business is what we had. But we had a product that if we could actually get in the hands of the consumer with an educated consumer, that they would know that it definitely is not some watered down, middle of the road supplement that most of the industry is pushing with a fancy marketing campaign. With that being said, Fueled has had a lot of great success, but it was really hard to really get over the edge based upon the amount of money that was flowing out of pockets to purchase new inventory and new product formulations. So for instance, an average wholesale 1,000 SKU pre-workout order on the market that's a mid-tier pre-workout probably costs that company anywhere between $5 to $7 per SKU. That means per unit. We were producing units of some of our pre-workouts $25 to $28 per SKU on the same on $25 to $28 per SKU. So per unit, literally getting 5 times the amount of expense versus what they were spending, the average company was spending. Was our products 5 times better? Probably 100%. But when it comes to profitability and selling that product at somewhat of a margin that's healthy enough for us to be able to reinvest money back into the business, be able to have money going towards athletes and affiliates and campaigns and ads and all the good stuff. It's really, really hard to build the brand when your profitability is so low. We were playing the long game when it comes to our product formulations, and in many instances, it's worked out for the Fueled Supplements line. Now, that product line, if you're looking for efficaciously dosed products that are going to blow away 90+% of the marketplace, they are still at the forefront of this 7 years later. With Buckaroo, what are we doing differently? Well, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel in the supplement space. I'm going to offer some unique unique product formulations. Now, are they going to be efficaciously dosed? Of course. They have to be dosed for performance. Are they going to be overdosed? No. They're going to be somewhat simple because our first wave of product line is going to be endurance-based. I'm going to keep ingredients low. The less amount of ingredients, the better, especially for digestibility. So you're not having a lot of GI distress. You want to be able to have things that are convenient. So you're going to see sachets and gels and new delivery systems when it comes to our products. And you're going to need something that looks cool, sexy, and you're going to want to use the product and be part of the brand. That becomes part of the community. Now, we're going to be doing that at a much lesser cost of entry. The cost of entry into the supplement world was literally multiple 6 figures. And in this route, it's much less. The idea is not that we're taking the cheap route, because we're absolutely not. The idea is we're taking a very detail-oriented, calculated approach to the marketplace, because I want to build a brand and a community around these products, understanding the value of delivery systems, understanding the value of these products. And I'm not launching with 6 products, 7 products, 8 products, 20 products. We launched with 6 products. I'm launching with 1. We're going to build around the 1. And as we create market demand and people start to catch on to what we're doing, we're going to develop into 2 products, 3 products, 4, and 5. Now, we could formulate products. We could formulate 100 products. That's the easy part. The not so easy part is going to be the branding, the marketing, the campaigning of these products, and getting them into the consumer's hand and you making profit, the business owner. So if you are somebody that's wanting to start a brand, I'm going to be showing you my journey back into the space of everything that I freaking learned over the course of the last 10 years. I'm not leaving my day job as a life insurance broker, but I'm going to be showing you what my 6 to 9, my 7 to 9, my 7 to 10 looks like after I work my 8 to 5, my 8 to 6:30. So let's dive head first. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. So let's see here. I don't know what's going on with my Kindle. All right, so here we go. You can see all of this crazy stuff. So this is going to be my rough draft creative dashboard here that I have. Now, you're seeing all sorts of stuff in here, and I'm not going to go through it all, but I'm giving you all a sneak peek of what this looks like designing a brand behind the scenes. What we're going to focus on is this little top corner over here. All right. So we're going to focus on what I've already shown individuals, and I'm going to go down my thought process behind these products, etc. ROO Prime and ROO Charge, that's going to be most likely coming out in 2027. So I'm not going to speak much on these products, but just look how aesthetic that this is. These are going to require a lot of refinements. These are definitely not in its final form. And I love the initial aesthetic and how these will look at first glance. These will definitely require some refinements. There's going to be some different things when it comes to packaging, etc. But for the case of this conversation, let's focus on these three right here. So this is going to be our flagship formula, our salt packet. Once again, when it comes to the formula here, don't take any notice to the amount of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. I just literally threw these numbers up here when it came to making these mock-ups and these designs. So what is salt, ROO Salt? Well, if you're like most people, you've probably seen the Element T packets or some form of electrolyte packet. This is going to be a premium hydration formula with a few different unique offerings when it comes to the formulation. And I'm not going to get too deep in the formulation because the idea of this is actually going to speak on the aesthetic and the idea behind the aesthetic of the branding. Where I'm seeing branding happen right now is this very minimalist view, this very clean aesthetic. Now, is there space and time for really busy, overly designed products? Yes, 100%. We are looking for something that's going to be bold, aesthetic, clean, and something that is marketable because we are building this brand backwards. We're not coming out with 6 products. We're coming out with one that's going to be incredibly marketable. I do believe that this product right here does just that. ROO Supplements as a premium hydration formula, or ROO Salt as a premium hydration formula, delivers number one, aesthetic appeal. You have to have a product that looks good in people's hands and that they're wanting to share on their social media pages, etc. Number 2 is going to be the formulation. I told you not to take note of what's over here because this isn't going to be the final formulation, but just know we have a couple tricks up our sleeves as my dad is the head formulator behind this brand, and he's always has these tricks up his sleeves when it comes to formulations and how to stand out in a crowded marketplace. In terms of aesthetic, I wanted to build the aesthetic around a very simple, minimalistic view with a little bit of color pop because it just looks phenomenal. So this was the very first design that I came out with, the all black packet. Now this is called a sachet. Now in this sachet, the reason that this is important versus a container. So we can definitely have this in a container, but in terms of delivery systems, as an endurance athlete that just got into running and ultra marathons, is delivery systems is everything. This is something that I'm going to require in my run belt, my run vest, and a bag. Things that normally take up space, like a container, don't really do me too well in terms of me on these long runs by putting it in my pocket. I can't put a container in my pocket, and who wants to take a scoop out of a container and put in a little baggie, and that just creates more mess, right? So the delivery systems when it comes to these types of products, especially for the use case that they're going to be under or used in, is very important. So we went with the sachet here. Obviously, this isn't nothing new. I'm not reinventing the wheel, and I'm not even claiming to reinvent the wheel. But we're going to offer some unique formulations to something that's already been done. So that's something to look forward to. But I wanted to go with a very minimalist feel. ROO Salt is going to be the name of the product. It's a hydration formula. It's got sodium, potassium, and magnesium. This is going to be something that you use during your runs, your endurance runs. You can use it as an everyday hydration product as well. It's something that's incredibly versatile. Obviously, we're going to be formulating this geared towards endurance athletes. So every hour or so, you're losing anywhere between 500 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium. So replenishing those electrolytes is incredibly important. Now, obviously element packets at a gram of sodium, and especially cheap sodium chloride, can cause a lot of GI distress, bloating, etc. We're not going to go down that route. We'll talk more about that in a later video. But this might end up being 500 milligrams or 600 milligrams of sodium because it's probably going to be used in conjunction to a few of our other products down the road. And as a delivery system that's going to have a systematic approach, if you're overdoing one product, especially if you're using multiple products in a system, you don't want to overdo one specific product. So by design, this product will be anywhere between 500 to 600 milligrams of sodium. Potassium will probably stay similar. Magnesium will probably be similar, but the delivery systems and the types of potassium and the magnesium, as well as the sodium, is going to be different than what you've seen in most cheap salt products. The next thing is going to be why this product is important for a brand that is looking to scale at a low cost of entry. The reason being is because unlike most of the products that we've formulated in the past with fueled supplements, the cost of entry for developing something like this is much lower. Not that we're going the cheap route here, but this grants us the opportunity to get our product in the hands of more people at a much lower expense. Obviously, the further the reach, the better that you're going to have to be being able to dial in your target market. It's going to take us a little bit of time for us to create a following, but I trust through these videos and me being open and honest about the brand and the development and taking you just along in terms of the journey, I really feel that many people can find resonance, whether that be in the brand in of itself or just behind the scenes look at what we're doing. So this product as low cost of entry into the market. So I'm not coming out with 20 products. I'm just coming out with one. Maybe there'll be a couple of variations of that single product as we move down the road. But this is a great product that I can hand out at run clubs. I can hand out lots of these sachets, quote unquote, for free. And it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg. Historically speaking, a lot of promotional items, people have used hats and shirts. But if you think about it, hats and shirts it's an unrealistic amount of times that hat or shirt's going to be worn. A lot of times freebies are either worn during your workouts, a lot of people aren't really filming their workouts, or during yard work or lazy days, and you're not really taking these photos. And most of the time when you're giving away freebies, you're not giving away a premium premier product. And so the consumer is not wearing it out to a nice gathering or a restaurant or things of that nature. With a product like this, what better way to spread our name, image, and likeness, our brand reach, than to have a product that we could give to people that people could use, and they're going to be using it every single day. Runners, I use a hydration product every single day. So what better way to get our product in the hands of an individual that's going to be using something every single day? I think that's super important. I'm not sure about you, but for me, having promotional items like t-shirts and hats and things of that nature, I've spent so much money on those things in the past with like minimal to no return. So I think that this is a great opportunity, number one, to plant ourselves in a crowded marketplace. Number two, I'm bringing you along in the journey so you can see behind the scenes of how this all is done. And number three, instead of relying on promotional items that have very low ROI, we're getting our actual product in people's hands, which I think is going to have the greatest long-term ROI that we could ever anticipate. So, or project. So that's it. I really appreciate you joining in. I'm not sure if I'm going to call this ROO News or Building ROO or whatever it is. I'm not really sure. That's also part of this journey that if you've watched this long, that I really want people to understand where I'm coming from when it comes to all of the information that I'm sharing. Some things I have figured out, and some things, man, I'm just learning as I go. And so I trust that in your journey, whether it be building a brand yourself, whether it be building yourself as your own personal brand, or if you have hopes, dreams, and aspirations to do something like this someday, that you just take it slow, but you're methodical in your approach. You become incredibly obsessed with the process. You study others who've had great success. You learn from what they've done well and what they haven't done very well. You implement, it's trial and error. You make adjustments and changes, and you move on. This has essentially been a decade in its making. This is up to this point, my life's best work. I trust in the next decade, as I look back, I'll see that this was a stepping stone in the next echelon of what I knew that I was capable of doing, accomplishing, and being as a business owner, as a creator, as an athlete. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Love and appreciate you all. If you enjoyed this behind the scenes look at the brand and what we're working on, Let me know in the comment section. Follow along for more.